The Emoji Movie proves Rotten Tomatoes can't make or break a film. The Emoji Movie is one of the worst reviewed major releases in recent history. The picture didn't just earn an 8% fresh over at Rotten Tomatoes, with 3 positive reviews out of 40. It made an average critic score of 2/10. That's awful. There are plenty of films that received 0 positive reviews, 1 missed call. Ballistic, Ek v Sever, etc. that nonetheless earned better average critic scores. It's not a record, mind you, as, for example, Bucky Larson, How to Be a Star received a 0% with 35 reviews and a 1/6 average critic ranking. But among major studio releases, that's how does one make a poop emoji? And yet it scored a pretty solid, as of this writing, $25 million debut weekend. Meanwhile, War for the Planet of the Apes sank another 50% in its third weekend after a tragic 63% decline in weekend 2. 20th Century Fox's $150 million sci-fi thriller has now earned $118 million in 10 days, putting it on course for a $140 plus domestic finish. That's compared to the $207 million domestic gross of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, from a $72 million debut in 2014 and a $181 million finish, or the 2D Rise of the Planet of the Apes, from a $54 million opening in 2011. This despite rave reviews for the Matt Reeves-directed Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson vehicle, which placed it at 93% fresh with an average score of 8/3, just below Dunkirk, 93% and 8/6, as the best reviewed big movie of the summer. There was a lot of talk in early summer about the Rotten Tomatoes effect, specifically after Baywatch, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales and The Mummy underperformed in relation to pre-release tracking after the review embargo dropped, unleashing a sea of negative critiques. The theme got so bad that Warner Brothers / Time Warner Incorporated didn't bother screening the Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler comedy The House for critics. They correctly guessed that it was the kind of film that would get a bunch of May reviews. Average score, 3/6, yet get stuck with a truly awful tomatometer ranking. Since the fresh, rotten thing only measures how many critics gave it at least a 0.6 of 18%. The negative reviews for Baywatch, since they were of the wow, this is not funny, and I consider myself a big Dwayne Johnson fan. Variety, did real damage to the film's opening weekend. But as we've seen this summer, it's not that simple. Dead Men Tell No Tales legged it to $171 million domestic, the same halfway decent multiplier that Baywatch pulled from a $23 million Thursday moon debut. The lousy notices undoubtedly hurt The Mummy and Transformers. But Wonder Woman did real damage as it became the event movie of choice for most of the summer. While Baby Driver, 94% and 0.8, and acclaimed smaller scale stuff like The Beguiled, 78% and 7/1, and The Big Sick, 98% and 8/3, swooped in as counter-programming. But for every Rotten Tomatoes killed Baywatch, there is a Rotten Tomatoes couldn't save War for the Planet of the Apes, or Cars 3. For every Rotten Tomatoes killed Transformers, there's a Rotten Tomatoes couldn't save Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Sure, rave reviews helped make Dunkirk into the adult skewing smash of the summer, But Atomic Blonde barely opened with $18 million over the weekend despite months of buzz about Charlize Theron's star turn and an all-time classic second-act climax. And now, despite some of the worst reviews I've seen for a major movie, the Emoji Movie opened with $25.7 million on a $50 million budget, which is essentially what it was always going to do. Rotten Tomatoes couldn't save apes, and it couldn't kill Emoji. Negative reviews for sequels to reboots of existing cinematic franchises are doing more damage simply because moviegoers can watch the prior incarnations at home in their jammies with a bowl of popcorn in their lap. Why watch Pirates 5 when you can watch Pirates 1 on Blu-ray, even if reviews were good? Great. Maybe Cars 3 didn't look different enough from Cars, or maybe the exceptionally downbeat War of the Planet of the Apes didn't look different enough from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Maybe one simple reason the Emoji Movie did okay is that it's the only Emoji movie, so it still offered something unique unto itself. Perhaps, unless you're Valerian, different is good. Rotten Tomatoes couldn't make Valerian, for which STX moved up the embargo well before release to build a good buzz, Captain Underpants, which held back until the last minute only to get relatively positive notices, or War for the Planet of the Apes into hits. And it couldn't turn the Emoji Movie into a flop. It is an aggregate website, one with increased power because the media now uses the fresh ranking as a catch-all for critical consensus, with said percentage score popping up when you buy tickets from Fandango or rent the title on Google Market. But it is not magic. At worst, the increased visibility of the site is being used as an excuse by ever pickier moviegoers to stay in with Netflix orbit. Yes, reviews matter, and there are circumstances where good reviews helped The Shallows, and bad reviews hurt Free State of Jones. But if folks want to see something, they will see it no matter what the mostly white, middle-aged male critics of Rotten Tomatoes have to say about it. Wonder Woman would have been a big hit with inferior reviews, and the mostly acclaimed Girls Trip didn't need great reviews any more than the mostly panned Bad Moms did last year. Yes, Baywatch with better reviews would have done better simply because audiences likely would have enjoyed it as well, but wanted to see the Emoji Movie or didn't want to see War for the Planet of the Apes. So no matter what the critical consensus had to say, reviews matter, and Rotten Tomatoes matters. But, to quote one critically acclaimed May domestic performer from last year, would that it were so simple.